Hi, how are you? So I'll just get straight into it. So my first question I'm responding to is, would you describe how you have used class or student data in evaluating your teaching and in improving student learning outcomes? So firstly, during my last teaching rounds in term 1 of this year, I had 2 year 10 biology classes. So what I would do was when I was marking like tests and SACs or prac reports, I'd just take note of the sort of weak areas where kids have gone wrong, and then when I would hand them back to the kids, I'd just spend maybe the first 10-15 minutes of the lesson going through it with them, congratulating on what they've done well, giving positive encouragement to them, but then also going through the questions they didn't do very well in, and just like breaking down the question, seeing where the marks were in the question and an example of an answer that would have got them the full marks. So then they got to keep those, so they could use them for self-study at home. They could see where they need to improve on and study more of that in their own time. But also as well during revision and stuff, they could refer back to it and say, oh, this is where I need to improve on and where maybe I should focus my time on more. So as well as that verbal feedback, I also wrote feedback in the tests and SACs as well, just to help the kids a bit more with going back through it and seeing where they went wrong, but also where they went really well. So another thing I did when we got to revision at the end of DNA and genetics, I made these exit slips for the kids, and it just had 2 questions on it. What questions do you have about any of the topics we've covered today, and what topics would you like more help with before the test? So this was a really great strategy to use, because the kids were able to put down where they still need help, and what topics they'd like more time on before the test. So a lot of them put things like meiosis and mitosis, which is really understandable because it's such a difficult concept to grasp for some students. So this was great for me as well because I was able to cater the revision lessons and the activities I created to what the kids wanted, what they wanted more help with, what they wanted more time with. So that was a really good technique to use. I also did a capacity matrix with the students. So what this was is so all the topics we've done so far, so scientific methods, cells, DNA, and cell replication. So this was a self-assessment and self-reflection tool for the kids to use. So for example, for something like cells, it would have a capacity breakdown. So what one of them is being able to label a plant and animal cell and its organelles. So being able to recognize whether something's a plant or animal cell, and being able to recognize the organelles within it, so like the nucleus, the mitochondria, what they look like. So then there were these boxes the kids had to tick. So information, I've heard of it, I don't know it, but I've heard of it in class. I can do this with help. I can do this on my own. I can teach this to somebody else. And then there was a box at the end which they could write their proof in or draw the proof in, whatever it was that was asking them to do. So the kids would tick one of the boxes, so I can do this with help, I can do this on my own, and then they would show me how. So that was a really great tool. So I took those up at the end, noted where more help was needed or more time in class was needed, and then I gave them back to the kids and they could use them as a study tool at home and during revision and stuff as well, to see what areas they needed to work on and improve in. Another thing I did at the end of my placement was a student feedback survey. So it was really straightforward. I just had questions and the kids had to circle and answer. So this was all mostly based around feedback. So the feedback I give when a student asks a question in class, and when they answer something in class, and the feedback I gave in SACs, and whether that helped them improve for the future, for a future test or something like that, or future classes. And then it just had things like my time management, how I ran a class, was it too fast, too slow, and did I deliver the content in a way that was easily understood for the students. And then I just asked some more things on my teaching instructions. So how could I improve on giving feedback, and how could I improve my instruction, and just then I asked, are there any positive comments about my teaching, and name one thing that I could do to be an amazing teacher. So that was really great for me, as a sort of reflection and assessment, see where I need to improve, what I've done well, but yeah, what I need to work on as well for the future. So that was really great, and I really appreciated the kids doing that for me. Other things I did as well was your pre-test to gauge prior knowledge. So for example, when we started the DNA topic, I just in the very first lesson of that, I just asked a real general brainstorm question, which was, what do we know about DNA? And we just did a mind map on the board, and the kids just gave all their different answers, and then we moved on into the PowerPoint I'd created on DNA. And then I do post-test things as well. So this just even included at the end of the lesson, just to see what's been learned today. So, I just ask something as simple as, what's one thing you've learned today? And I just randomly pick students to answer. So that's the end of that question. So